like I was telling you. So I did not. If it's a question, did I? Okay, if it's negative, well, I didn't. Okay, let's go for the other subjects. So you did not. Did you? You didn't. He did not. Did he? He didn't. She did not. Did she? She didn't. Are you, he, she, it? Did not. Did it? It didn't. You, he, she, it. There is another you, a second you. This one is for plural. Okay, so the first one is singular, which is like usted or tú. Okay, the second one here, it's for plural, so it would be ustedes. You did not. Sorry, did it? You did not. Did you? You didn't. You, he, she, it, you, we did not. Did we? We didn't. They. Okay, they did not. Did they? And they didn't. Okay, so this is pretty much part of the structure we're going to be using on the whole sentence. I just wanted to show you how it works as the same auxiliary for all subjects. So don't worry. Okay, now the second important grammatical aspect we've got to consider here, it's the conjugation of the verb, okay, or form of the verb. Okay, now when it comes to the simple past tense, it's important that we make the distinction between regular and irregular verbs. And again, I'm going to draw a chart for us to understand the difference between regular and irregular verbs. Now, you have access to the books, and I think it's page 175. Let us check from the book. On page 175, you'll find a list of verbs, okay? Now, this list of verbs contains irregular verbs only, okay? The idea is for you to little by little learn those verbs. It's important that you learn the conjugation of both regular verbs and irregular verbs in the English language. This is a gradual process, don't worry. I mean, you don't have to learn them all at once, but please learn them, study them little by little. And I don't know what's happening with the website, but it's kind of, you know, there's like a lag today. Don't worry, we'll check again. And yeah, this is important to make this distinction when it comes to past simple between regular verbs and irregular verbs. Now, English is easier compared to Spanish in terms of conjugation of the verb. Why? So let me just write here, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Okay, now let's try with the verb sing, which in Spanish is cantar, right? So for the verb cantar in past, it would be as follows. Yo canté, tú cantaste, ¿ya? Or usted cantó, yo, tú, él, ella cantó, vosotros, yeah, it's also possible, cantasteis, yo, tú, él, ella, vosotros, nosotros cantamos, ellos, ellas cantar. You see, so there is like a different conjugation for each subject. In English, it's really easy. The verb to sing in past is an irregular verb, which is sing, sang, for the past simple. So I sang, you sang, he sang, she sang, it sang, are you, he, she, it, you sang, we sang, they sang. So this is what I mean when I tell you that English is easier compared to Spanish when it comes to the conjugation of verbs in the past simple. We just have to learn. Sorry, I don't know what's happening with the book today. We just have to learn. I'll try again. We just have to learn the conjugation for past simple, and later on, when we study perfect tenses, we will study the past participle form. Let me show you on page 175 from your book. The list of verbs that I'm telling you about. Oh my God, this is so slow today. Yep, there you go. Page 175, as you can see, there is a list of verbs, but all of these verbs are only irregular. Now, the one that you have to learn little by little is the one in the middle, the one that says past simple. Okay, so all of these verbs are just irregular verbs. It's important that you study these by heart, little by little. Okay, I'm gonna send you another list of verbs. Don't worry about it, for you to have it and to study it. So please practice and study gradually. Now let's go back to this Word document here. Regular verbs and irregular verbs. Now, regular verbs are easy to identify because all we have to do is to write ed, ed, or d at the end. Some examples of regular verbs are as follows. So we have play, we have study, we have laugh, hate, visit, work, etc. Okay, so simply we add one of these endings to the verbs. Play, played, study, studied, laugh, loved, hate, hated, visit, visited, and work, worked. Now, something that is also very important when it comes to pronunciation is the final sound. For regular verbs in past simple, we have three possibilities, okay? Final the sound, the final it sound, and final t sound, okay? Which is the case for the last verb. So play would be played, the final the. Study would be studied, final ed. Love would be final d, loved. Hate would be hated, hated. Visit, visited. Work, work. Okay, now it's important that you practice the pronunciation of regular verbs in past simple, because this is how you can, and this is how you have to talk, and this is how you can tell the difference between present and past. Listen to these two examples, okay? I visit my grandmother last Saturday. Yeah, it refers to the past. We know it's the past because of the time expression last Saturday, but the pronunciation is not correct because I said, I visit my grandmother last Saturday. The correct pronunciation would be, I visited my grandmother last Saturday. Okay, so when it comes to speaking, it's very important that you make sure to pronounce the regular verbs in the corresponding past simple form. Now, irregular verbs, on the other hand, they change, okay? They change. So that's why it's so important that we study them by heart. Let me give you some examples of irregular verbs and the corresponding past simple form. Drive, read, put, cut, hit, build, teach, speak, and there are many others. For example, the ones that are on page 175. Now, for drive, the past simple would be drove. For read, the past simple would be read. For put, it would be the same put. For cut, it would be the same cut. For hit, it would be the same hit. For build, it would be built. For teach, it would be taught. And for speak, it would be spoke. Okay, so drive, drove, read, read, put, cut, hit, build, teach, taught, speak, spoke. As you can see, they are all different, right? For example, drive changes both in terms of spelling and in terms of pronunciation. Read only changes in terms of the spelling. Read, R-E-A-D, read, R-E-A-D. It changes in terms of, sorry, it doesn't change in terms of spelling, but it changes in terms of pronunciation. Read, 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 okay? So for the past simple, it would be, I read a novel last night. Put, cut, hit, hit. They don't change. Build, built, teach, taught, speak, spoke. So again, it's important that you study them by heart little by little. And we only conjugate a verb to the past simple form in affirmative sentences. Okay, we do not conjugate the verb, not in past simple, in negatives and in interrogative sentences, because we have an auxiliary. Okay, so if there is an auxiliary, we do not conjugate the verb. Now here, I'm going to give you some examples of sentences that are correct and some others that are incorrect. I played soccer last night. This one, a happy face means it's okay, and a sad face means it is not okay. I played soccer last night is okay. I did not play soccer last night. It's also correct. Here is a question. Did I play soccer last night? This is also correct. And what sport did you play last night? Okay, this one is also correct. On the contrary, I'm going to give examples of sentences that are not correct. Like, I play soccer last night. Now, this one is not correct because of the verb. We have to conjugate the verb if it's affirmative. I did play soccer last night. For now, let's say that is not correct, but later we will understand that this is actually correct. Más adelante vamos a entender por qué esta oración sí está bien, pero por ahora vamos a decir que no está correcto porque estamos estudiando pasado simple. Más adelante vamos a estudiar otro tema que tiene que ver con énfasis, pero eso es más para allá el otro año, ¿ok? Great, so this one is not correct either. I did play soccer last night. I didn't play the soccer last night is not correct because, give me a second. This one is not correct because there is an auxiliary, and if there is an auxiliary, we cannot conjugate the verb. Here is another case with a question. Did I play the soccer last night? Again, this one is not correct either because there is an auxiliary here and we cannot conjugate the verb to the past simple form. What sport did you play last night? Again, this one is incorrect. Same situation before. We cannot conjugate the verb if there is an auxiliary. Okay, so these are some examples of correct sentences. And on the other hand, au contraire, we have examples of incorrect sentences. Now, third important aspect to consider, it's related to time phrases and expressions in the past simple. Okay, if we want to refer to the past, well, it is, I already used this color. It is a good idea for us to use a past time expression in the past. Okay, examples of past time expressions in the past simple are as follows. For example, today is November the 30th, it's Wednesday, and yesterday was November the 29th, which was Tuesday, so yesterday. Yeah, the day before yesterday, on the other hand, was Monday, the day before yesterday. Okay, so yesterday, the day before yesterday, we can also use the word last in combination with a measurement of time. For example, we have many possibilities here. last week, yeah, last weekend, last year, last, I don't know, winter, last
Teacher,
summer. Yep.
one question. What is the meaning of measurement?
Medida de tiempo, measurement of time.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's how we can measure time by counting hours, minutes, seconds. Okay.
Okay.
But let's change it. So last plus time related words. Okay, so last week, last weekend, last year, last winter, last summer. We can mention the day of the week. So last Sunday, last Saturday. We can mention not only the day of the week, but also the moment of the day. So last Monday afternoon, yeah, last Friday morning, etc. Last year, last decade, and we can continue with many others. Now, be careful. Last year, this is just an example. Last year and is different from the last year. Okay, I'll tell you the difference for you to see how important it is to not to make this mistake, which is very commonplace, but it's okay. No worry. There is a great deal of difference between last year and the last year. Okay, right now, according to our Gregorian calendar, we are in the year 2022. Okay, 2022 is the current year. Okay, now 2021 is last year. But if we say 2022, it is the last year. Here is an example. Last year, I went to Zapatoca last year. However, I have not been there during the last year. Did you get the difference? Yep. Juliet, did you get the difference?
Yes.
Okay, what's the difference?
Last year is the 2029.
2021.
And the last year is 2022.
2022.
The present.
Okay, that is correct. Perfect. Thank you very much. En español, para que quede un poco más claro. ¿Listo? Brevemente. El año en curso, de acuerdo con nuestro calendario gregoriano, es el 2022, ¿sí? El año pasado, que en inglés se dice last year, es el 2021. Sin embargo, the last year se refiere al año en curso. La diferencia, aquí la cuestión, la confusión viene del español, ¿sí? En lengua materna español tiene cierta influencia sobre L2, en este caso inglés que estamos intentando aprender y adquirir, ¿cierto? Entonces es muy común guiarnos por el español al principio del proceso. Como nosotros decimos el año pasado, inmediatamente lo que hacemos es decir the last year. Pero esto es un error en semántica, ¿sí? ¿Qué dice aquí? Fui a Zapatoca el año pasado, o sea, ¿cuándo? 2021, ¿cierto? Sin embargo, no he ido durante este año, o sea, el año en curso, ¿listo? O el último año. El último año y el año pasado son dos cosas diferentes. El último año, el año en curso, son como básicamente lo mismo, pero el último año y el año en curso y el año pasado son tres cosas distintas, ¿ok? Entonces, last year, año pasado. The last year, el año en curso o durante el último año. Lo mismo ocurre con last month, last weekend, last year, last decade, and so on. Okay, so it's important that you make the difference between last year and the last year. Now, we can, thank you very much, Juliet, for your participation. We can also use a go in combination with some phrases. So normally we have a go plus time-related word plus a number. Sorry, it's actually the number first. Number plus time-related word plus the word ago. It's actually like this, okay? Select this, go. So if it's only one, we can say a minute ago. 2 seconds ago. 3 hours ago. 4 days ago. 5 weekends ago. 6 weeks ago. 7 months ago. 8 years ago. 9 decades ago. 10 centuries ago, and we can continue. Okay, so a minute ago, hace un minuto, 2 seconds ago, hace 2 segundos, 3 hours ago, hace 3 horas, hace 3 horas, 4 days ago, 5 weekends ago, and you continue. This is another possibility that we can use for the time phrase and expression in the past simple. Okay, and that's pretty much how the past simple works. We have affirmative sentences, we have negative sentences, we have interrogative sentences. We use the past simple for past events and actions, for finished actions. These are other uses that we're not going to study today. We will study that later on during our process, but it's important that you know. Okay, so remember, study the conjugation of regular verbs in past simple by heart, and of course, the conjugation of irregular verbs in past simple by heart too. That's very, very, very important. Good. Now, let's continue with a video. Let me...
Teacher,
yes?
excuse me, I have a small question. And when I try to refer to this semester, okay, you use last semester?
You can say during the...
Or
can say,
past semester?
No, you can say during the last semester or during this semester. Okay.
During this semester. Okay, last semester is
the semester.
El anterior.
No. The last semester es el que está en curso.
Okay, it's the same last year and the last year.
That is correct. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it happens with last week, the last week, last year, the last year, last semester, the last semester, last month, the last month, last summer, the last summer, last spring, the last spring, and so on. Julian, what's your question?
Teacher,
Yes?
this last week?
Sorry, could you possibly repeat the question? It was kind of hard to listen to you. What's the question again? Yes?
Amplitude to the day, like the last day or last day?
No, but the last day is not, neither the last day nor last day are possible. Ayer, I think.
Okay, yes.
Okay, ayer is yesterday.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, yesterday. Ayer is yesterday, and antes de ayer, o anteayer, it's the day before yesterday. Was that the question?
Sí, me había un vaso de agua.
It's okay, don't worry. It's okay. I love it when students ask questions. No, pregunten. Cada vez que quieran preguntar algo, por favor, pregunten. Don't worry. That's the whole idea, okay? I will answer all the questions. In English, of course. What's your question, Jean-Claude?
I say this last year.
It's kind of difficult to listen to you. Can you try again, please?
¿Me escucha, profe?
Yeah, but it's kind of noisy. Maybe try putting the microphone closer to your mouth. What's your question again?
Can I say this last year?
This last year?
Yes.
Yes, I have seen that expression too, this last year. And this last year refers to the current year, okay? Which means 2022. It is a little bit more emphatic, you know, to say this last year. It is okay, I have seen it, I have heard it, but it refers to the current year, that is to say 2022. according to our time conception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sure thing. My pleasure. Thank you so much for asking. Okay. Does anybody else have another question? No? All right, cool. So now we are going to continue with a video. And after the video, we will have some practice, okay? So simple past tense. And then we're gonna play Kahoot. And of course, we're gonna have online practice. There are gonna be some exercises from the book as well. But
6-minute grammar.
okay, remember, I will be sharing the links to the videos and to the online exercises with everybody in the chat. But in the case of the videos, for example, I will be playing them from my screen. So I hope you find this video on past simple, useful, educational, and instructional. Let's start.
From bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello, welcome to 6-Minute Grammar with me, Finn.
And me, Sophie. Hello.
In today's programme, we're talking about the past simple tense.
When we use it, how we form it for regular verbs.
And we'll take a look at some irregular verbs, negative sentences, and questions.
And we'll finish, as usual, with a quiz.
Okay, so let's get started. The past simple is a tense in English that we use to talk about an event that happened and finished in the past. Here's Neil with our first example.
Jack Dorsey invented Twitter in 2006.
Thanks, Neil. Now, we often find the past simple in stories like this.
The boy started running. Suddenly he stopped and listened.
Wow, sounds like an exciting story. And it had 3 past simple verbs: started, stopped, and listened.
And they are all regular verbs. We make the past simple of regular verbs by adding an E and a D to the infinitive.
So the past simple of start is started,
The past simple of stop is stopped.
and the past simple of listen is listened.
Did you spot the difference in the pronunciation there?
Yes, sometimes the E and the D at the end sounds like a T. T. Listen. Stopped. Stopped.
Sometimes it sounds more like id. Id. Started. Started.
Or like a D. Listened. Listened.
Let's hear all 3 again.
Stopped. Started. Listened. Stopped. Started. Listened.
Thanks, Neil. So listen out for those 3 different pronunciations of the past simple ED ending. It's simple, isn't it?
Yes. Well, we are talking about the past simple, but irregular verbs are not quite so simple.
That's true. Can you give us some examples of irregular verbs, please, Neil?
I went to the interview yesterday and got the job.
Very nice. Congratulations. And another one, please.
Kurosawa made some wonderful films.
So the past simple of go is went,
Get is got.
and make is made.
And I'm afraid you just have to learn irregular verbs. There is no one simple rule for them.
But the good news is that the past simple is the same for all people.
Yes, it's I got the job, you got the job, he got the
He
job.
got the job, we got the job, they got the job.
Everybody got
Everybody
the
got
job.
the job.
Hooray!
Yes!
6-minute grammar.
From the BBC.
Now for past negatives and excuse me, Sophie, are you hungry?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't have breakfast this morning.
You didn't have breakfast. Past simple negatives. This is simple. You just put didn't in front of the main verb.
That's right. Didn't plus the infinitive makes a past simple negative. I didn't have breakfast this morning.
So remember, it's not I didn't had, it's I didn't have breakfast.
I didn't have breakfast. I didn't have time.
Now, let's move on to past simple questions. Here's an example.
Did you make that cake? It's delicious.
Did someone say cake? Where?
No, sorry, Sophie. It was just an example.
Oh.
So, in past simple questions, it's did plus subject plus an infinitive. Did you make? Let's hear that again, with an answer this time.
Did you make that cake? It's delicious.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Or we could say, no, I didn't. For short answers, just drop the verb and use the subject with did or didn't. So it's yes, I did.
Or no, I didn't. Good. Now for a quiz. I'll say a sentence in the present simple and you change it to the past simple. Here goes. We start work at 10 in the morning.
Okay, in the past simple, it's we started work at 10 in the morning.
Great. Number 2. Here's a sentence in the past simple. You have to make it negative. Ready? Scientists found a cure for the disease.
And the answer is, scientists didn't find a cure for the disease.
And finally, I'll ask a past simple question. Can you give me a short answer, Sophie? Did you have breakfast this morning? Did you have breakfast this morning?
No, I didn't.
I knew the answer to that one.
Or I could say, yes, I did, Finn. What did you have for breakfast?
Well, I had cereal, eggs.
Oh, stop.
toast,
I'm so hungry.
orange juice, coffee.
There's more
croissants.
about this on our website at bbclearningenglish.com. Join us again for more 6-Minute Grammar.
Bye.
Bye.
6-minute grammar.
From bbclearningenglish.com.
Now, I want to show you a second video. This one deals with the pronunciation of regular verbs in past simple. So, yeah, pronunciation of regular verbs in past simple. Now, there are some things that you can use, some, aspects that you have to consider in order for you to make it easier, okay? So there are some patterns that we can actually
To pronunciate.
And in this video, you will see some of the most common patterns to identify whether to use final t sound, final t sound, or final e sound. So this second video deals with pronunciation of regular verbs in past simple. Let's watch it.
Hello, welcome to pronunciation practice. My name is Sammy, and I am an American English language student. Today, we are going to practice pronouncing past tense sounds using regular verbs ending in ed. For regular verbs, we usually add ed to the end of the verb to make it past tense. The spelling is easy because you just add ed, but the pronunciation can be a little tricky. Last weekend, I walked to the restaurant. When I got there, I glanced through the menu. The waiter arrived and I ordered a steak. After dinner, the waiter handed me the bill. I left happy because my meal tasted great. These verbs all have the past tense ed, but they are pronounced in 3 different ways. In walked and glanced, the ed makes a t sound. Walked, glanced. The ed in arrived and ordered ended with a d sound. Arrived, ordered. The ED in handed and tasted ended with an id sound. Handed, tasted. So how do you know which ED pronunciation to use? There are 3 rules to remember. First, if the verb ends in a t or d sound, use the id ending. For example, the past tense of verbs want and need becomes wanted or needed. If the verb ends in one of the following voiceless sounds, such as p, k, f, s, sh, ch, or f, use the t sound for past tense. For example, we have helped and washed. If the verb ends in any vowel or in a voiced sound like l, m, n, j, r, g, b, v, w, z, use the d ending. For example, called, played. Remember how we saw that spelling and sounds don't match up? Well, look at the following words: missed, sliced, and fixed. The last sound in each verb is spelled differently, but they all make the s sound. That's why they get the t past tense ending. Remember to focus on the last sound of a word. Both promised and closed have an S before the ED ending. However, promised has an S sound and closed has a Z sound. That's why promised has a T ending and closed has the D ending. Now you try. What are the American English pronunciations for these past tense verbs? Click pause to try the activity and press play when you are ready to continue. I used an umbrella. The ice cream melted. He pushed the button. I studied for the test. Next time, we'll practice pronouncing long and short vowels. This is American English. Thanks for watching.
Okay, now let's practice. Okay, I have a Kahoot for you on past simple. And then we're going to be working on some online exercises. Then after that, we will continue with some practice from the, what happened, Natalia? Why the face? What happened?
I think because the sound is like we don't understand.
The sounds.
Or understand
The theory about the pronunciation of regular verbs in past simple. Yes. Es sobre la teoría de la pronunciación de los verbos regulares.
Yo creo que es el tema de que dice como que las cosas que terminan en s y en sí, que son como S y Z, para uno suenan casi igual y es como que what, y son pronunciaciones distintas.
Yeah, don't worry. We will guide you with this process, okay? I will correct you when we're having speaking activities, which is basically most of the time. I will help you, okay? So I will have to correct you in order for you to understand what's the correct pronunciation. So don't worry, okay? Entonces, bueno, sí, es una cuestión lingüística, hay más que obedece a fonética y fonología. Quería mostrarles cómo funcionaba, pero no se preocupen, no tienen que aprenderse eso de memoria. Entonces lo que vamos a hacer es, cuando yo note, digamos, una corrección que se debe hacer en pronunciación, la hago. ¿Listo? O sea, si por ejemplo alguien está hablando y dice, I played soccer yesterday, entonces yo diré played. Okay? Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry. Sylvia, don't worry. Natalia, don't worry. The others. It happened the same to me when I was in the first semester back in university, but practice makes perfect. You said it yourself, Sylvia. Practice makes perfect, okay? But please keep that video as a treasure and many other videos, okay? Ese video lo pueden guardar como un tesoro ahí sagrado, más otros videos, pero pues obviamente el proceso es muy guiado, okay? So when I correct you during the classes, don't feel ashamed, don't worry about it, okay? I'm gonna help you. No, practice makes perfect, not the maestro. Practice makes perfect. Okay, cool. Don't worry, I will help you. Now, we have a Kahoot, simple past tense. And we will practice. And then we will practice, and then we will practice, and then we will practice more. Because practice makes perfect. So remember, based on the previous classes we have had up to this point, you need 2 screens in order to play Kahoot. If you have your cell phone nearby, you can use your cell phone to answer the questions. And from my screen, you will see the questions. If not, you could always open 2 tabs. So you will be swapping in between tabs to see the questions and the answers. So that's the pin, sorry, that's the link for you to enter the pin to the Kahoot. And this is the pin for us to play. After the Kahoot, we will have more online practice. Also, we will classify, we will have some practice to classify regular verbs according to their pronunciation. Don't worry, okay? 338 476. There you go. I'll give you 2-3 minutes tops to join the session, and then we will start. Okay, so congratulations to the winners and thank you everybody for having participated in this Kahoot session based on simple past tense. Now we're gonna have some more online exercises and then we will go for the book practice. Thank you, Gerson. I hope you liked it, okay? Great, thank you everybody for having participated.
Teacher,
Yes, tell me, Silvia.
the verb, yes, the verb play. Ese lleva ed, ¿no? Ed.
Oh,
Play.
okay.
Play.
Yes.
Yes. En el juego arrojaba que era falso. Y al igual que el verbo order, lleva ed y también arrojaba que era falso.
What question? Remember the questions?
Yes, the game.
What number? Do you remember the questions?
¿Cuál pregunta?
I think that is
11.
11. Okay.
11, but it's a question, no?
She played the violin when she was 7. Maybe, okay, I think the confusion comes here. Don't worry, I'll try to explain. You tell me if maybe that's the case. There are two cases for verbs ending in Y, right? Notice, play, if there is a vowel before the Y, like in the case of play, we simply add ed, right? But on the other hand, if there is a consonant before the Y, like in the study, we drop the Y for an I and add ed. Is that your question? Because if we go...
Oh, yes, I know. O sea, pero en el, yo puse play it,
But look.
pero me arrojaba que era falso. No sé por qué.
No, but look, the correct answer is...
It's a question.
Claro.
Pronto te confundiste de
No, but
figura.
number 7, number 11 is not a question, it's affirmative. Mira, la respuesta que está marcada como correcta en la 11 es played.
Y la anterior de order.
Yeah. Affirmative
Order.
Question of this type.
If it's a question, let's find order. This is a question. So because this is a question, we cannot conjugate the verb. So the answer has to be order. Recuerda que cuando hay preguntas y negativas no conjugamos el verbo. So
Okay, okay.
Order. Okay. What other questions? Do you have questions about the questions? ¿Cuál otra? ¿De cuál otra tienes duda?
No, nada más es eso.
No? Oh, okay. Is it clear? This one? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for asking. Sometimes it happens with the figures, but it's okay.
Tal vez me confundí porque es que a mí no me salían en el juego las preguntas, entonces me tocaba entrar acá a la llamada de guerra y correr rápido.
Okay,
a colocar la pregunta en el...
maybe it was because of that. Okay.
A mí me pasó lo mismo, pensé que era la única.
No, it's okay. Don't worry. It happens sometimes. Maybe because we of course we are given more points if we answer quickly, but sometimes it's better to read, you know, it's better to read, take some time, read the question, read the statement, see the optional answers, the potential answers, and make sure that everything is okay. Good, you got it? Yep.
Cindy was arranged.
Let's just skip it. Okay, let's continue with the class. Good. All right, so I have some exercises for us to practice, of course, based on past simple. This one is about irregular verbs, okay? So, oh my God, sorry, I don't know the reason why there is like a lag today. So this is the link to this activity. This one is to practice irregular verbs, okay? So what's the idea? We just have, please use the link that is in the chat, and all you have to do is to match, okay, the verbs in their base form, that is to say here, and to the corresponding past simple form. So for example, for the verb to have, it would be had. Okay, I will give you some minutes for you to do this task individually, and then we will be checking together. Please use the link that is in the chat. We will check in about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, cool. Let's check. So what about the past simple of the verb fall?
Oh,
Sorry?
Feel.
Fail.
what's the meaning?
For example, imagine that you are riding a horse. Okay, horse, the animal. Yeah. And something happens, and well, you are on the horse, and then you fell from the horse, and you have like an accident or something, or maybe you stand up. Okay. You got it. So what do you think fall is in Spanish?
Caer.
That's correct. Thank you very
Okay.
much. Good. But
Thank you.
okay, hey, here. So please be careful with the difference between fall and fell. Okay, so fall is caerse. Felt would be the past simple. Feel is sentir. Felt is the past simple. Okay, sometimes people get confused with these two words. There is another similar case: find, found, found, founded. The first one is encontrar, encontró. The second one is fundar, fundó. So be careful with those verbs. Thank you. Now, what about get? What's the past simple of the verb to get?
Got.
That is correct. Here, by.
But.
Oh.
Bought.
Bought.
Sit.
Sat.
Sat. Paid.
Paid.
Hey.
What happened here? Paid.
Paid.
Oh, they are mixed. Where is paid? They are
Invert.
mixed. Okay.
Invert,
Build.
invert.
Build.
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 With T. What about eat?
Eight.
Eight.
Eat. Sent.
Sent.
Sent. Where is? Okay, here it is. Say.
Said.
This is like in Spanish when you're thirsty. Cuando uno está sediento en español dice set. So say set. Okay, set. What about can?
Cold.
Blow.
Blue.
Hello.
Blew. Run.
Run.
Runs. Run. Okay. Fly.
Flew.
Flew. That's correct. What about is?
Was.
Was or where? Both are possible, right?
Growth.
Wrote. Cat.
Cat.
Cat. Leave.
Left.
Left. Tell.
Told.
Told. And do is of
Did.
course did. Okay. Now, something. How can you tell the difference in terms of pronunciation between run in present or in the base form, spelled R-U-N, and A, the past simple, and the past participle? Well, there are 5 vowels in the alphabet, our alphabet, the same that applies for English. Those are A, E, I, O, and U, right? But in terms of phonetics and phonology, in terms of pronunciation, there are 25 vowels, give or take a few. For the vowel A, yeah, we have different pronunciations. So if it's spelled with U, yeah, like this, it's an open A, okay? Esta es la A del depredador. ¿Por qué la A del depredador? Cuando ustedes, un amigo de ustedes está comiendo, por ejemplo, empanada y ustedes le piden empanada al amigo o a la amiga, me regala un poquito de empanada, ustedes abren la boca como si fueran un depredador y para comer un poquito de la empanada, un poquito nomás, ¿sí? Entonces, A, una A abierta, ¿ok? Run. This one, on the other hand, is nasal. Entonces, esta es nasalizada. Ran, ¿ok? Ran. Like, good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to today's lesson. So, ran. Okay, this one is nasal, and this is the A, la A del depredador. Okay, acuérdense del ejemplo de la empanada. Ran. Okay, ran. So those are different sounds there. Now, please remember, fall, fell, feel, felt, find, found, founded. And I'd like you to please listen to me. These are just some examples of irregular verbs. Had, fell, got, bought, sat, nasal, pay, built, final sound, built, ate, sent, set, could, blew, ran, flew, was, wrote, cat, left, told, and did. Okay, good. There you go. Now, let's go back to the book. There are some exercises on the book for us to practice, and then we will go back to other online exercises. But give me just a second, because I think that because of inactivity time, the book already, oh, no, it didn't close. Okay, cool. Page 16, Now, I'd like you to please open your books to pages 16 and 17. That's the beginning of Unit 2. And let's read this article. Okay, so page number 17. It says, read the article, exercise number 2. Read the article again and match the information with a number or date in the box. So we have these numbers or dates, the early 1920s. The early 1920s, okay? This is a decade, the 1920s, the 1930s, the 1940s, 50s, the 60s, the 70s, etc. But we can divide the decade into the earliest and the the lates. So the early 1920s refers to the first years of the decade, including 1920, 1921, 1922, 1923, 1924, and maybe 1925, okay? Now, the late 20s or the late 1920s, on the other hand, refers to the years after 1925. Or maybe if you like, you can also include 1925. So 1926, 1927, 1928, 1929, and 1930. Okay, actually 1929, because 1930, well, that's the beginning of a new decade. Okay, so same principle applies for the other decades, the early 1920s, the late 1920s, the early 1930s, the late 1930s, or you can also say the late 40s, the early 40s, the early 50s, the late 50s, and so on. It's like a comienzos, okay? If it's early, a comienzos de la década de los 20, or the late 20s, a finales de la década de los 20. It happens the same with all the other decades. This is 1999, 1936, $109 or pounds. Let's see, it's based on the reading. 1967, 1996, 2005, or 2005, or 2009, or 2009. Okay, so the idea is for you to match these phrases or numbers to these statements from number 1 to number 9 based on the reading. So number 1, the number of TVs in Britain in 1936. You choose with a number. You match it with a number. The first BBC TV program, the last analog TV broadcasts in the USA, the cost of the first TV advert, the first basic television, the first TV program on a mobile phone, the first satellite TV program, the first electronic television, and the first DVD player. Okay, now I will read the article for you. Sometimes I will read for you. There are going to be other times when I will take the lead, then somebody will read, but today I'm going to read for you. So please follow the reading and at the same time, listen to me. So it goes like this. Everyone knows that Scotsman John Logie Baird invented the first television. In the early 1920s, he made a basic television which transmitted pictures, but he didn't develop his idea further. But not many people know that Vladimir Zworykin, a Russian inventor, invented the first electronic television in 1929. People often call him the father of television, as his invention became the basis of all modern televisions. The BBC, meaning the British Broadcasting Corporation, made its first TV programs in 1936. Most people didn't watch, as there were only about 100 television sets in Britain at that time. There were programs for only 2 hours a day, except Sundays, when they didn't show any programs at all. As well as news and sports, cookery programs were popular even in the 1930s. Frenchman Marcel Bustin, I guess, became the first TV chef in 1937. The first TV advert in 1941 was for a Bulova clock. It lasted 20 seconds, and the company paid just $9 to show it during a baseball game in New York. Technology started to develop faster and faster in the second half of the 20th century. Color TV came to the USA in the 1950s, to Japan in 1960, and to Europe and South America in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Meanwhile, in 1967, people all over the world watched, find that sound there, watched as the Beatles sang on the program, Our World, the first ever satellite TV program. The world's first video recorders came from Japan in the mid-1970s, but DVD players didn't appear until November 1996. Also made by Japanese companies. From 2005, it became possible to watch TV on your mobile phone, thanks to 3G technology. The first country to change from analog to digital television was the USA in June 2009. Canada and Japan did the same in 2011. People watched, again, final sound there, the first TV program nearly 80 years ago. After the huge changes in television broadcasting in the 20th century, who knows what the next 80 years will bring, okay? So again, basically what I'd like you to do is to please match these dates and numbers to these statements from number 1 to number 9 based on the reading. To do so, I will make some groups, okay? So please join your group. You will have about 5 minutes. You will have about 5 minutes to solve this task. And then in about 5 minutes time, we will be checking the answers as a whole class, okay? So let me just make the groups. You will be working in 6 groups of 3 or 4 people. So please join the group.
Sorry, I don't understand the object of activity is answer of the question.
Exercise number 3.
Okay.
Yes, you have to match the dates here to the statements.
Okay.
For example, the number of TVs in Britain in 1936. What was the number?
I'm going to the question. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure thing. My pleasure. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so let's check the answers together. Number one, the number of TVs in Britain in 1936.
100.
100.
100.
That's correct. Thank you very much. Number two, the first BBC TV program.
1936.
1936. That is correct. Thank you. Three, the last analog TV broadcast in the USA.
2009.
2009.
209.
2000.
2009.
2009.
I think somebody's saying something.
Okay, sorry.
No. I mean, can you repeat, please?
I think that it's
2009.
09 or 209.
Okay, 2009, 2009. That's correct. That's pretty much what everybody was saying. Good. Thank you. Three, the last analog TV. No, four, the cost of the first TV advert.
$9.
$9. That's correct. Thank you very much. Let's go for number five, the first basic television.
The
Early
1920.
No, that's correct.
About the answer.
There is a microphone on. Remember to check the microphones. Okay. The first basic television, 1920s. Thank you. Six, the first TV program on my mobile phone.
2005.
2005 or 2005. That's correct. Thank you.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hotel 2005 or 2005?
2005.
Okay.
2005, 2005. That's a very good question. Thank you very much, Julian, for having asked. I think it was Julian the one who had the question. 2005. Yeah, just correct. Good. Six, now seven. The first satellite TV program.
1967.
1967.
1967.
Yeah, that's correct. 1967. Thank you. Eight, the first electronic television.
1929.
1929.
Okay. 29. That's correct. And last but not least, number nine, the first DVD player.
1996.
1996.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So when numbers come before the 2000s, we say 19 and then the second number. Okay, 1929, 1936, 1967, 1996, 2005, 2005, 2009, 2009. And for example, if it's the 800s, you know, so 1825, 1734, 1658, 1515, 1492, 13, 28, 12, 14 or something like that. Okay, so if it's before the 2000s, we say the numbers in two. 1996, 18, no, for prices is different. This is just for dates, okay? For years. For prices is different. This is just for years. That's a really good question. Davey, what's your question?
Can you explain me more detail the difference with, for example, 100 and 1000 numbers?
100 is 2 zeros. 1000 is 3 zeros. Okay, so 100, 2 zeros.
Okay.
And thousands, it's 3 zeros.
This
100,000 would be like this.
in years prefer the second option.
What do you mean?
For example, in this year, when I say is in 2000.
Okay, after the, I mean, starting in the 20,000s,
yes,
we can say 2005.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Because another way of calling 0 is O. So normally 2005 2009, yeah, or 2005 or 2009, okay? But these only applies for dates, for years, okay? Because we can also talk about numbers. And the number would be 1929, 1936.
Okay.
1920. If we're counting from 0 to 1, that is to say cardinal numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a million, 2 million, whatever you want to call it. But if it comes to years, then it has to be done like this, okay? Si estamos hablando de años, lo decimos así, 1929, 2005, 2005. Si estamos contando, si damos un orden, ¿cierto? Este número sería 1929. If it's ordinal numbers, we say first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 16th. That's for dates, okay? Para fechas. Utilizamos números ordinales. So first, number 1 would be first, number 2 would be second, number 3 would be third, and so on. So this is just a mix of prices, years, and numbers. So it all depends on the context. Did you get it?
Yeah, teacher. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Yes, tell me.
How do you how we say 30 August?
The 30th. The 30th of August, or August the 30th.
30th and 20th.
The
Likely.
20th.
20th.
The
Okay.
20th would be el 20 de agosto, but we don't use ordinal numbers in Spanish to tell dates.
21
21 would be 21st.
20, oh, okay.
21st, okay.
Obvious.
Don't worry, I can send you a link for those people who maybe are not in the WhatsApp group and you want to be part of the WhatsApp group. This is my cell phone number. I will add you to the group. There are some people who are already in the group. I'll be sharing extra material too via this group. So maybe I can send you a link for you to practice ordinal numbers and cardinal numbers and telling dates, years, and so on. Okay. All you have to do is, for example, reach me like Jean-Claude Barrera, A2.1, and I will add you to my contacts. But I need you to please write your name and your last name and A2.1 because there are other levels too. And I'll add you to the WhatsApp group. Okay, good. So it was just an example. This is for everybody. Okay, everybody is very welcome then in the group if you like. Now to finish, it is complete the extracts with the correct past forms of the verb in brackets. And this is going to be a listening activity. So please go to exercise number 1A on the practice section. And I'll be playing the recording twice. The idea is for you to write the correct form of the verb that is in parentheses or in brackets, considering past simple, both regular and irregular verbs. So give me just a second because I need to open the reader's book so I can play the listening. Okay, I played the recording twice. Let's start.
Unit 2, Recording 1. 1.
German car company Benz began producing cars on a large scale in the 1890s. Their first car was the Benz Velo in 1894. It didn't go very fast. In fact, it had a top speed of just 20 kilometers per hour.
2.
Bridget Driscoll was the first person to die as a result of a car. The accident happened on the 17th of August, 1896. She walked into the path of a car travelling at just over 6 kilometres per hour. The car didn't stop. It hit her and she died.
3.
Italian engineers were the first in the world to build a motorway. On the 21st of September 1924, the first car drove from Milan to Varese on the Autostrada A9, a distance of about 50 kilometres.
Unit 2, Recording 1. 1.
German car company Benz began producing cars on a large scale in the 1890s. Their first car was the Benz Velo in 1894. It didn't go very fast. In fact, it had a top speed of just 20 kilometers per hour.
2.
Bridget Driscoll was the first person to die as a result of a car. The accident happened on the 17th of August, 1896. She walked into the path of a car travelling at just over 6 kilometres per hour. The car didn't stop. It hit her and she died.
3.
Italian engineers were the first in the world to build a motorway. On the 21st of September 1924, the first car drove from Milan to Varese on the Autostrada A9, a distance of about 50 kilometres.
Okay, so let's check the answers together. German car company Benz
Began.
began producing, I think, producing cars on a large scale in the 1890s. The first car
Was
the Benz Velo in 1894. It
didn't
go.
Excellent. That's correct. Thank you. It didn't go very fast. In fact, it
Had.
had a top speed of just 20 kilometers per hour. Number 2. Bridget Driscoll was the first person to die as a result of a car. The accident, number 5.
Happened. Regular verb. Yes?
That's correct. Listen to me. Happened. Final does
Happened.
sound. Happened. Final does sound. So the accident happened on the 17th of August, 1896. She here, final sound. So she walked into the path of a car traveling at just over 6 kilometers per hour. The car, number 7, didn't stop. That's correct. It hit her and she died. Final D sound. Died. Okay. Number 3. Italian engineers
Were.
It's
Were,
plural.
yes.
Okay. Italian engineers
Were
the first in the world to build a motorway. On the 21st of September 1924, the first car drove from Milan to Varese on the Autostrada A9, a distance of about 50 kilometers. Good. Okay. So, my dear students, with this, we have come to the end of today's lesson. I will be sharing some extra material with you. And that's it. Okay. Thank you so much for your attention. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Sleep tight. We will see you tomorrow. Remember to work on Moodle. Moodle is already available. Remember to work on the project advance number 1. And please always remember to check the microphones. ¿Listo? Vayan trabajando en Moodle, que ya está activo. Vayan haciendo lo del primer avance del proyecto, porfa. Recuerden que el 13 de diciembre tenemos última clase, es el examen, nuestro primer examen. Y recuerden tener cuidado con los micrófonos. Okay, good. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, everybody. Take care. It's been a pleasure.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, teacher.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Stay tight, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, teacher.
Bye. Thank you so much for your attention and participation. Take care. Bye bye.